What's going on, everyone? It's been a really long time, but I finally have a new video to show everyone and a new product that I purchased probably about 3 weeks to a month ago. I actually meant to get this video out a long time ago, but you know, things happen. So life happens, work, things like that, so I apologize for the lateness. Got a few other things I want to review too, but those will have to go on the back burner. So what we're going to be talking about today is the Nebox. And you've probably seen video reviews of this before. This isn't a real new product, but it's new to me. And I have the box totally upside down, so sorry about that. Okay, so here's the box that it comes in. It actually comes with this plastic piece over it. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm not really a big fan of unboxing, but some people like to see what's in it, so that's what we're doing. This thing fits so tightly on here, I didn't want to have to struggle with it, so I just kept it off. So if we open it up, see what's actually in it. So this is where the actual device would be. Obviously it's not in there. We have the instruction booklet. Some good information, some not so great information in my opinion. It really doesn't give you a whole lot. I mean, it gives you some info, but as far as the the heads that the coils that you're getting and all that, doesn't really give as much information as I'd like. So speaking of, here we have the user guides for the coils. It'll give you the wattages that you should be vaping at, which is really nice. Temperature mode, all that good stuff. There are these stickers right here, and what that's for is you put it on your battery so that when you put it in the device, that there's part of the front of it is actually has some slots cut out of it, and this way if you have like a color that really doesn't match your device or it looks really bad with it, you just throw this over and you're all set, so it'll just be black. And I'll show you that as well. Yeah, just a little scanny thing. You've got your charging cable. Really nice feature is they give you a coil already wrapped, some extra screws, a screwdriver. This is all for the rebuildable, the RBA section, and some cotton, which I have not used actually. I haven't used that cotton. It might be a lot better than what I actually have. I just have regular organic cotton, which is fine for me. And then you get 2 coils, and this is the rebuildable section right here. So I believe, and this is part of the instructions that don't tell me anything, I believe that this one with the blue is the nickel, and the one with the red is the titanium. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the nickel one, if that is the nickel one, is for temperature mode, and this one can be just regular. So, let's see if I can pop these out. Yeah, here we go. Now, I have actually used all 3 of these, so that's why they're all in the box. Normally, I believe the titanium one, which I believe is this one right here, was actually in the device. So that's what it looks like. So that's that one. Same exact thing except blue on that one, and then this is the RBA. So it's got a little screw right here. You take that out, this pops up, you unscrew this right here, and you got your coil. Another really nice thing is that it had a coil pre-installed in it, so you get like 2 coils, which is awesome. So for somebody like me who doesn't really build very good coils, you're all set. So that's what comes in the box. So we'll get that out of here. Sorry if I'm going a little fast. I just, my videos tend to be really long, so I'm trying to fix that. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So if you had, like, let's say, I don't know, a red battery and you didn't want it all red, you can just throw that sticker on there, and now it's showing black through there. So, alright, so it's surprisingly a lot heavier than you think it would be, being that it's not a very big device. I mean, this whole thing right here is metal. The only thing that's not metal is the top and the drip tip right here. So that's it. Now you can use just about any drip tip that you have, should fit on here pretty well. You just can't put any tanks because the tank section is going to be right here. So it's all in one, which is what I really like about it. I thought that was really cool, actually. Part of the reason why I bought this was because I like the idea of having like an all-in-one device and not having to, you know, find a tank that really fits the device and, you know, kind of mess with that. So I like the idea of just being like an all-in-one device like this. So now you can probably see it's really scuffed, like down here, up here, right when I got home today from running some errands, I dropped it right in the middle of the street, and I was so angry. I kept it in really good condition up until then, but then I dropped it and completely scuffed it up. But on the bottom, now this is where there's a lot of wear and tear. Right in here and right in here, you can really see it. This is, well, this right here. Now this is day one. And so what this is where your battery is going to go. And I'm not going to unscrew it because it's really, really hard to get back on. Yeah, basically, you just take like a quarter or something, turn it, this little thing pops up. It's got a spring-loaded connection. Pop your battery in there, put it back in. Maybe it's just my threads aren't very good, but it is really hard to get back on. I've seen other people, you know, doing reviews on this, and they seem to have a much easier time with it than me, but it was tough. This right here is where your coil is going to go. Now, the nice thing about this, and see, this is why there's a lot of wear and tear on it, because you're constant, you know, well, not constantly, but this is also where you're going to be filling it, so you're going to be taking this off quite a bit. And I purposely left the two coils that it came with in the box because you can actually use the older coils in this, so it is backwards compatible that way. So I had to replace the coils because the two that I have burnt out really quickly, which is kind of a bummer. So the vape shop where I went to, where I usually go, only had these in stock, but they will work. So that's kind of nice. And then you would just fill your juice down the side down here, and then you're all set. It'll hold 10 mils, which is good. For me, that's, you know, oddly, you'd think it'd be plenty, because I don't really vape. I don't vape all day. But because this, you know, this is a sub-ohm coil, and I'm vaping at like 45 watts, I'm going through juice pretty quick. So that's overall what it looks like. Now you're going to have you got your screen right here, and I won't go too far into the specs because, you know, I don't use temperature control or anything like that. There's plenty of other videos out there where they do a great job of really showing everything. But you got your basic wattage up, wattage down. If you click it 3 times, that will go into this right here, where if you put in a new coil, you can pick which coil you just put in. So depending on if you're replacing it with a nickel, titanium, you know, whatever, then you can actually go into here and pick what it is. So that's, you know, that's definitely a good feature. And yeah, so that for some reason it always goes to temperature mode, and I'm not exactly sure why. So if you, let me see, try to figure out how I get back to getting rid of that, because I don't use temperature control, and maybe that's bad, maybe I should be, but I never use temperature control. I just vape it at like 40 to 45 watts and I'm good. Like, that's enough for me. So okay, so if you press both of these buttons down at the same time, you'll go into this menu. So here is where you can, you know, you can set for temperature control or turn the temperature control off, which is what I do. So T off, and then you can start it at 7 watts or 60 watts, which I'll just start it at 60 because I'm going to go down to 45 anyway. So, you know, you can kind of set it there. So I'm just somebody that just wanted a little bit more wattage than what I was using prior. So I really don't need, I really don't care about temperature control at all. But you've got your battery gauge. It'll say T off, and that means temperature control is off. 45 watts. It'll give you the, down here in the corner, it'll give you your ohms, you know, what your coil is reading, and then your voltage as you're vaping it. It'll tell you your voltage. So, you know, you got your, so you charge it from the front, which is kind of nice. So even if you have a battery in there, you don't have to take out the battery to charge it. You can still charge it through USB. It does take a long time to charge, though, because it's an 18650 that's in here. The one that I have in here is a 3000 mAh. battery, so it takes a while to charge. Like, you know, and because I'm vaping it at you know, not a real high wattage, but high enough, it's blowing through the battery life pretty quickly, which is really odd. Like, I really didn't think that this thing was gonna be such a, you know, battery hog, but it really is. So anyway, that's what it looks like. So we'll go back and we'll vape on it, and I'll tell you what I think overall. Alright, so we've kind of taken a closer look at this thing, and so big part of it is how does it vape, so let's check it out. So vape's okay. Now, one question you probably have is like, okay, well, you have an older coil in here, not one of the ones that it comes with, so what's the comparison between the two? Honestly, the reason why I felt okay leaving an older coil in here and not using one of the ones, even though it's about to go out, in here that it actually came with, is because I really didn't notice the difference. The one for temperature control, or what I believe is for temperature control, the nickel one, I wasn't super impressed with, but I also wasn't using it for what I believe that its function actually is. The regular coil that it came with, I didn't find to be much better than this one either, so I wasn't really impressed with either of them. The one that I was actually the most impressed with, which I didn't think I would be, was the RBA that it came with. That one I was actually having the best experience. I mean, it already came with a coil pre-made, and people that build their own coils probably can make a better one. But for me, I just, you know, threw some cotton in there, you know, primed it up really good, put it in, and I had a great experience. I mean, best flavor I had out of all of these coils was definitely from the RBA. Best vapor production was definitely from the RBA. So really, I think that with this device, I almost feel like that's really the way to go. All of these coils from Kanger, I feel like they do really well for the first couple of days, and then the flavor is super muted. Like, I can barely taste the flavor anymore after that. The vapor production still remains okay, but I feel like they're, you know, coils from other companies have lasted me like a week and a half, 2 weeks, you know, right around there before, like, I really got a burnt taste. With these ones, I feel like it's just a matter of 4 or 5 days, and all of a sudden I got to replace it, which to me is ridiculous. Like, it shouldn't last that long, considering I'm not vaping that much, although I am using thicker e-liquids now than I used to be, so that could be it. But that's why I felt like leaving this coil in there, really there wasn't much difference. The vapor production was about the same, the flavor was about the same, so overall I'm just not impressed with Kanger's coils, unfortunately. But their RBA section was really good, and it came with the coil already installed, so which was great. Now, one thing to note is that the right down here, this right here, this is where you're going to get the airflow. So that's kind of weird, but that's where you're going to get the airflow from. The airflow, I think, is really, really good. Like, it's pretty much just right where I would want it to be. I like a real airy draw, so for people that like airy draws, it might be too much. But for me, it's great. So it just feels, you know, nearly perfect in my opinion. So, you know, vapor production is pretty good. It goes up to 70 watts, so that's really a lot. You know, I was at a point where I was vaping, you know, first I started out when I first started vaping, like in wattage modes, 25, worked my way up now to 45, so I wanted something that I was going to be able to grow with and go higher and higher. So, you know, this works out really good for that. Now, Grim Green sort of beat me to this review. Like I said, I was planning on getting this review out a while back, and then he got his out, I think, almost a week ago now. And one of the things that he mentioned is that it leaks. Oddly enough, and he was saying the same thing, he hadn't had a problem. He'd heard all these people saying that it leaks, and he didn't have a problem, and then one day, boom, it leaks. Exact same thing happened to me. I even watched his video and was like, well, that's not true, mine doesn't leak at all. And then left it in my car overnight, go to get it, and it's just completely leaking out of the bottom right here. So that is going to be a problem. Apparently it really is everybody's, and I realized that the reason why mine didn't leak before was because I just about always have it setting down on its side, so it's not going to leak that way. When I leaked, and from what he was talking about, his leakage issues, it was standing up. So that's the problem. Gravity's sort of pulling it down, and if you just leave it on its side, it should be okay. His solution, Grim Green's solution, was to take out the drip tip and leave it like this every time you put it down. I've really only had that problem one time, and it was only because it was like this for like an entire night. I've always just had it sitting down all day for days at a time, sometimes, and it doesn't have that leaking issue. So, but there is that. That is worth mentioning. Now, the price of this is going to vary. Online, there are places apparently selling it for like $60. I got mine for, I think it was just over 70, and that was sort of like a on sale price. Normally it's about 80, so it's an expensive device, and I kind of feel like it is a hard thing to recommend because you also have to have a battery. So if you don't have anything and you're gonna spend, let's say $70, $70 for this, plus an 18650, plus the fact that you're probably gonna have to buy more e-juice if you're used to using a smaller device, because now this thing's going to be like a juice guzzler. You're talking about spending, possibly up to $100, and really, I don't think it's worth it for that. I think it's an interesting looking device. I like the compactness of it. It is a little bit heavier than I would like. Carrying this around in my pocket all day is just not. It's not great, especially when you got your keys and your phone and like your other pocket. You kind of feel like weighed down compared to a lot of the other devices that I've used, like the eLeaf iStick, the other eLeaf devices, all sorts of different things. This one is definitely the heaviest, and it's right on par probably with like a good mechanical mod or something like that with an 18650 in it. It's weighty. I mean, it's definitely weighty. It's not as light as it looks. So there's that consideration as well. But if you're somebody who wants to use temperature mode or temperature control, you want to be able to vape up to 70 watts, you don't mind spending that kind of money, then absolutely go for it. I definitely probably wouldn't recommend this as like somebody's first device. I would probably go with anything eLeaf makes, like the iJust 2. I also picked up one of those. I'm going to do a review on that as well. To me, that's I find myself wanting to use that a lot more. It doesn't have as much battery life, but I mean, it comes with a great tank. The coils on it have been really good, better than I think than these. Actually, I would have compared it right now to that, but I also burnt out one of the coils on that. I got to go buy more coils for that one as well. But the coils are also a lot cheaper, I found too. Like, they're probably, in the vape shop that I go to, they're probably about $9 cheaper for like a 5-pack than this. These ones go for almost 20. Those ones go for just over 10. So, so all in all, I think it's a good device. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I mean, it's one of those things where I picked this up just because I saw it and thought it looked really cool. It had a lot of really good reviews. But, take all those reviews with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm using a pretty high VG liquid in here, and as you can see, the vapor protection isn't that great. Every other review that I've seen, everybody's blowing these massive clouds, and I'm like, I don't see it. I don't know how that's possible. And they're supposedly just using the coils that it comes with. I don't buy it. I just don't believe that. It's just, there's no way. These coils, maybe I just got some bad coils, but the coils are not that good. They're not that great. So I don't know how. Anyway, that's a whole rant. Take everything anybody says in a review with a grain of salt. Fact of the matter is, I bought my own, and I gave it a shot for myself and formed my own opinion on it. So, part of me does feel like I just really spent all this money based on reviews that kind of led me to believe that it was better than it really was. So, not that I feel jaded, but I just want everybody to have that knowledge that there's a lot of really glowing reviews out there, and mine's going to be a little bit more negative because I don't feel that it's as good as everyone says it is. I think it's okay. I think it's been all right, but I don't think that it's that great. So for everybody who got it for free, good on you, and thank you for the great reviews, glowing reviews of it. Somebody who paid $70 for it, I don't think it's all that. So anyway, take what I say with a grain of salt as well. Go to your local vape shop if you're interested. See if they have it, check it out. Feel it, talk to them, see how they like it. But all in all, I think it's okay. I think it's an average device. I don't think that it's really all that great. I think that it's got a lot of problems. With the leaking, the coils that this thing uses aren't that good. The strip tip's kind of small. I mean, you can definitely use your own, but I mean, you know, all in all, it's just it's okay. It's okay. It's compact, but it's heavy. So that doesn't, you know, to me, it's just like if it's gonna be compact, it should be light, right? That's the whole point. You know, if I wanted a heavy device, I'd get something else. But let's give it one more vape. I mean, that's okay. It's not, you know, again, like I've had much better vapor production from so many other devices. So, you know, there's the proof. There is the vapor proof that this thing does not put out the amount of vapor that a lot of other people are showing that it does. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.